It's Tom Albright with AVNation with an AVNation special, taking a look at Cisco and their collaboration. And with me, well, it happens to be the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Collaborations, Snorre Kjesbu. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us on the show.
Well, I appreciate you. Snorre, you are not unfamiliar with most folks who paid attention to Cisco for a number of years. You have deep roots in collaborations. You have deep roots in connectivity, in making sure that folks are able to communicate effectively across vast differences. You guys have an initiative or a program called Distance Zero. What is that? Like if I was somebody brand new to Cisco, I just fell off, I just landed on Earth and I had never heard of that before. What is that?
It's actually an ambition, Tim, and the ambition is that regardless of whether you are present in the room or you're calling in remote, or if there are rooms that are together or single people that are coming in remote, we want ideally to make sure the technology is doing it so that you can feel no distance. And if we go back to, when we did telepresence and the old days, we said, okay, let's cut a table in two and add 5,000 miles. That was sort of what we spoke about, right? And that was actually pretty great. But that was two meeting rooms coming together. In 2025, that's not the case. The case is you might have three meeting rooms, but you might have two remote workers and someone being in an airport coming together at the same time. And what we want to make sure is that they have an equal presence in that meeting, so that no one is at a disadvantage, that everyone can be seen, they can be heard, and they can focus on what's at hand, which is really the business that's going on in that meeting. And there's a lot of technology that you could work on to come around that. That has to do with the way you do your cameras. It's one of the things that you can automatically track people. It has to do with things like best view and the way we frame people, etc., etc. It's a long list of things. And then we thought, what is the common denominator for all of this? And it's kind of a fun story because we were battling, and all of these came back with like 4, 5, 6 sentences and words. And then all of a sudden, no, but this is trying to create zero distance between people. It's like everyone is in the same room. It's distance zero. So that's really what it's all about.
Well, and one of the things about creating equal presence in the meeting, certainly there are operational things that we can do. But when you guys look at it from a technology standpoint, because that's what Cisco is a technology company, what is it that you guys are able to do? How are you able to facilitate that distance zero?
Yeah, so first of all, there's a number of things, and one of the things that we launched back at our event WebEx1 back in the fall is the AI Director. So it's basically an AI Director that will sense who's in the meeting, who's talking to whom in a meeting, and it will actually automatically pick the best camera mode, the best way of framing people, the best way of doing this. So you could think of this. Let's take the following example. You have three people calling into a meeting room. There is a meeting happening there, and there's a discussion that goes over the table. We will detect that, or not we, the AI agent will detect that, and it will basically use side cameras to make sure that you get a full frontal picture and an image of the person that's talking and the one that's listening. So we're able to not only read the one that's talking, but also the one that's listening, because those visual cues are key to that. That will mean that, and you can also have an overview of the same room at the same time. That will mean that the people that are remote really have a equally good presence in that meeting as the ones that are in the room itself. So I think that what we did with the AI Director is key to that, and will drive that as well.
Snorre, one of the things that I have at least observed over the last couple of years, certainly since 2023, when ChatGPT, which is not the only AI out there, I recognize that, I admit that. That, though, was one of the Kleenex moments for AI as a broad awareness in the marketplace. There's an awful lot of folks that are throwing things at the wall, as it were. I made the comment last year ahead of ISE that I was afraid that they were going to slap AI on everything, including duct tape, and that would be it, right? We would just be in this AI mess. Where do you see the industry and as a whole, collaboration or AV, when it comes to leveraging AI in an honest-to-God application?
I think this is a really good way of framing it and asking the question. So let's dial back a little. We actually sat down with NVIDIA in the summer of 2015.
Oh, wow.
You heard right, 2015. That's a decade ago.
Yeah.
And we created a strategic partnership with then a company that was not that well known on actually having machine learning AI capabilities in our video devices back in 2015. First products came out in 2016. That's, a good almost 6.5 years before the ChatGPT watershed moment. And I'm not talking that down because that was an absolutely pivotal change. Yeah. But we didn't start with AI in 2022. We started well before that. Our first machine learning algorithm we actually had in our products back in 2013. But from 2015, we've been pushing the envelope here big time. And that is literally AI at the edge that's been able to read and understand what's happening in the room. And then all of this has been evolving and more and more and more algorithms. And the way we can put them together now, and we're now into our 4th generation of NVIDIA chips in our devices, that has given much, much more capabilities than we had ever dreamt of. But this is something that's been happening for quite some time on the devices side. But if I can go back and talk briefly about what I see there when I talk to customers and organizations. I see that most are leaning in, they're trying to use it, but they're also proceed with caution in certain instances. Okay. And one of the things that I try to say is that don't put everything AI into one saucepan and make a stew out of it. An AI stew where it's overwhelming and you can't do it and it's difficult and resistance everywhere, etc. Try to divide it into really very, very specific dishes with clear ingredients. On the collaboration side, what we have done is that we have said that the AI in 3 areas is what we're pushing. Is AI at the edge, which is what we've just spoken about now with what we've done with NVIDIA and what we have done with the AI director and noise cancelling, etc., etc. It's AI in the cloud. That has to do with typically the large language models and the way we create AI agents that we have in our WebEx meetings and our meetings, and also on our contact center side, where we have a lot of AI agents that can do summarization, note taking. We have the AI receptionist that can be a receptionist for a side office and stuff like that. And then the final one is what we call AI for manageability and controllability, for how you own and operate the system. And when you divide it into those 3, the first one, the data is not going anywhere, so you're perfectly fine using that. The last one, the data is also happening just inside of your company. So having the superpower for the people that own and operate these services is really, really good when you think about using AI for manageability, etc. And this is where the AI canvas from Cisco that we launched back at Cisco Live in June is super relevant. And what we do with Thousand Eyes and Control Hub and the powerful tools. And then you have the middle section, which has to do with how do you work with Copilot, how do you work with Chat, GPT? How do you work with other large language models and integrate that into your workflows? And I think so for Collab, I see these three dishes. If you look at an overall organization, it might be 4 or 5 or 6 different ways of dividing it. And then when you get it into bite-sized chunks like that, it's much easier to get started and really push the envelope on how it can be used. And when I look now at 2025 and what we can do, I see super powerful algorithms at the edge, like we spoke about. I see super powerful algorithms when you use it for control and manageability, which literally means that you can scale the org that's running these services tremendously. You could solve problem now in minutes instead of hours and days. And then when you integrate it into your workflows, your business workflows, with automatic, meeting scheduling, you can do things like having the AI receptionist for your branch offices, etc., etc. The more obvious ones like summarization, action taking, etc. You could push all of those envelopes immediately.
There's a couple of things that you guys are dealing with here. One is certainly you've got the connectivity issue of putting everything on the network. 10, let's call it 15 years ago, because I think you're right, 2015 was a decade ago, which is just bizarre. So let's say 15 years ago now, because that's about what it was. Folks were talking about putting AV on the network, right? And that took kind of its own meandering path. For a minute there, it was on a separate network. Now it's majority on some sort of converged or production LAN. But something else is happening, and that is the manageability of these systems. Talk about that migration to, we've got AV on the network, we've got all kinds of other stuff, but what about, what IT directors are dealing with making sure that the manageability is easy, right? Certainly one pane of glass is the easy way to say that, but making sure that it's everything that they can do from one location.
First of all, I think that the IT managers and the ones that own and operate the systems have gone from collaboration being a useful tool to it being mission critical. So just there, it's a dramatic shift. I would say you can before and after COVID, literally. It went from useful to mission critical. With mission critical, it must be treated as such. That means that quality has to be high, reliability has to be high, you can't have outages, you must make sure that all of the rooms and the systems works every time, every single time, with 5 nines in it, literally. So, because that's how we operate these days, and with hybrid work and people working remote, people being in the office, that's the essence. That's a tall order. They have a hard task. So what they need is the tools and the setup to give them the superpower to be able to deliver on that. And I think that's sort of the baseline. So what are those? Those are things like being able to know if all of your gear is connected. If you have any faulty gear, you need to have full view of your network infrastructure and everything. And the tools that we have from Cisco here is things like Thousand Eyes that comes out of our networking business, which can literally do a full hop-to-hop analysis of your entire network and setup. But we even have Thousand Eyes agents all the way out into our phones and our video devices. So you will know if the network all the way out to the edge is there. That gives the organization superpowers to realize, is this a local connectivity issue? Is it an ISP issue? Is it an issue somewhere else? And you can pinpoint those things in minutes instead of, taking hours or days. The other one is in the room itself. Is the Marcus phone connected? Has someone put something on top of a microphone? Are the cameras connected, etc., etc.? And what we've done now is that we are all of our microphones now and going forward are IP connected. Our cameras are IP connected. That means you don't need the extenders and the amplifiers. You literally pull an Ethernet cable, and over that you get power, you get media, and you get the control and manageability. So you have the full view there. And then we pushed the envelope even further back in the fall. Because what we did using AI and our relationship with NVIDIA, we created what we call a digital twin of a room. So we will literally look into the room. We will create an exact digital twin of that room in the control system, which means that you have the dimension, you know how many chairs, how many microphones, how many cameras, you know the materials of the table and the walls and everything. And in a digital twin, you can play around with that setup without actually impacting the room that might be busy and being used. And you can say, okay, can I remove a microphone, or should I add another one? Or, you know, what would it do if we added another camera here? Do we have the coverage? We can actually, even now with our smart microphones, we can even null out the audio coming from a door or an opening. And you can play around with all of these things on that digital twin. And when you know that is right, you can go and implement it in a physical room. So what we're doing and trying to make sure is that the people that own and operate in the IT org really has the superpower to run this, because it's mission critical. It has to work every time, all the time. And I think that is a massive shift.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Snorre, before we let you get out of here, take a look at the next 12 months. I have stopped asking people for 5-year projections. COVID taught me anything. It taught me that, because none of us know. But at least the next 12 months. What does collaboration look like the next 12 months in this environment of certain segments going back to work? Return to office is certainly a topic that's coming up first of the year. Hybrid is certainly, there as well. And trying to get everybody just to collaborate together and work together in a seamless fashion. Where do you see the industry going in the next 12 months?
I think it's another fundamental shift. And, when you and I have been talking and we've been working on this, we've really been focused to people communication. I see the massive shift happening now is that you will have three segments here. You will have people to people, you'll have people to AI, and you'll have AI to AI. We call that connected intelligence. All of that will come together over the next months. And no, I'm not looking out years, I'm talking months. Yeah. So what do I mean by that? So people to people, that's obvious. That's what you and I are doing today. That's what we're doing most of our meetings. That's where we drive distance zero, and we will continue to push the envelope of that. That is going to be absolutely paramount going forward. Then you have people to AI. That is all of the AI agents that you'll have as part of your meeting. Some of them will summarize, take actions. We just made an acquisition of a company called EasyDubs that can do real-time translation in no time to a ton of languages. That's an AI agent that's actually communicated with people.
Wow.
And we will actually co-work with AI agents. So that's the people to AI piece. Here comes the fascinating thing, and really it blew my mind the first time I realized this. And that is AI to AI. So what is that? Yeah. Think of a contact center. A contact center having an AI agent. And in that AI agent, that is actually talking to a person that's going in and calling into the contact center. But who's training that AI agent? That will be another AI agent training that AI agent and say, why didn't you pitch this 2 minutes and 37 seconds into the call? You should have done that. So that's when you will get AI agent interacting with each other as well. So in the next months, you'll see people to people, people to AI, and AI to AI. And that is connected intelligence. And it makes me super excited. And we're really leaning in here.
Very cool. Well, Snorre Kjesbu, thank you so much, sir. How do people connect with you, or how do they connect with Cisco if they are so inclined?
Reach out to Cisco. We're always there. We would love to talk to you, discuss with you, and find solutions.
Very good. Thank you so much, Snorre. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others, all that and more at avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.